the race. We're just under 2 hours from start time. Start time's gonna be 8, and it's 6:19, 6:20. It's just heading down there now. Parking hopefully won't be too bad. So we're gonna go a little bit early, try to get a good, decent spot. But I made a mistake. In my initial weeks of planning for the 10K and how I was gonna run it, I picked, like, I don't even remember exactly how I got to the paces that I picked, but the pace I picked from like my speed workouts was 7:57. And during my speed workouts, in my mind, I also don't know where this came about, but in my mind, I was also gonna run a sub 48 minute 10K today. Earlier in the week, like, I was looking at pacing and everything, and just had one of those moments where I realized, like, a 7:57 pace isn't going to get me sub 48 on the 10K. I believe it's like 49 minutes and 20 some seconds, I think. I don't remember exactly how much, but that happened earlier in the week, and throughout this past week, been trying to figure out how I want to do the pacing, because I still want to do the sub 48. I know it wasn't exactly like what I had set my training up for, but that's what's been in my mind for the last, seven or so weeks. I don't know when, like I said, I don't know when the switch happened that I went from, I'm going to run 7:57 for my speed workouts because that's going to be my race pace, to, hey, I'm running sub 48. I'm going to run this in sub 48. So I don't know when that switch happened, why it happened, but it happened. So just going to take it and keep on moving. Hopefully the day will go good. Slight error, but you live and you learn. So since I messed up the pace, the first half of this 10K, the first 5K is super uphill in my opinion. Very, very hilly. So what I'm going to do is I plan on negative splitting anyway, but I'm going to try and do the first 5K in sub 25 minutes, running at like an 8-minute or below pace, probably like minus 5 seconds for the first 5K. That'll put me like 24 something. And then for the second 5K, try to go sub 23. It's a lot more downhill, and I know I can pick the pace up a little bit. So yeah, sub 8 minutes for the first 3 miles, sub 7:24 for the second set of 3 miles, and then that 0.2 is just gonna be all out. But like I said, we're gonna give it our best, see what happens. So here we go. All right, so got in underneath that 48-minute
goal that I was hoping for. Official time was 47 minutes and 38 seconds. Super happy with the results. I learned a lot during this race. I went out way too fast. My 2 mile split was 15 minutes, so 7:30 pace for the 2 miles, and then I hit the 5K split at 24:03. My initial plan was to go out at about an 8-minute per mile pace for the first 3 miles, get in at the 5K mark under 25 minutes, and then do sub 23 for the second 5K. I think just being in the racing environment, it was on my mind that I didn't train like I thought I was in order to do the sub 48 10K, but thankfully I was able to grind out that last little bit. I started really struggling once I got to about 2.5 miles. That's when there's a lot of elevation gain. I had to slow down a lot. I think that 3rd mile, I think my split was somewhere around that 8-minute mark, which is where I was supposed to be, but I was already hurting a lot. And then for that second 5K, the goal was to do 7:24 or less for each mile, to do a sub 23 for the second portion of the 5K. Came in 22 seconds faster than I had hoped I would come in. So again, super happy with that. Learned a lot during this race. Another mistake I made was I decided I wanted to park about a mile from the start line. That way I could get a nice warm-up jog in, just to get from the car to the start line. And walking on the way back was not nearly as enjoyable. Legs are pretty shot, but like I said, super happy with the effort. And the race was fun. There was a lot of people. I think there's about 20,000 people is what they were saying. I didn't have to worry too much about weaving in and out of people. Thankfully, I had to a little bit. I think like on my Garmin, I did like 6.3 and some change, so just a little bit over, but a little bit of weaving, a little bit of not staying on the measurement lines. But it was cool. There was people lining the streets with music and people cheering throughout the race. That was good. A lot of good volunteers. And the after party was pretty cool. We didn't stay too long, but I stayed for about an hour walking around. And, there's vendors from everywhere here in Austin doing different things. So it was nice to get the community involved. But now it's time to head back to the house, get some food in me, get cleaned up. Probably gonna take a little nap, feeling a little worn down, and enjoy today's victory. So thanks.